read for the summer. Read a book, 5 is the number. Find time to do it and you won't regret it. Read a book, oh yes, yes. Every book that you read, it's your brain that you feed. Read a book, oh yes, yes. Summer is always exciting and you want to go play. You will benefit later on. Read 5 chapters a day, so read a book, 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 read a book. Before you go out to play, pick up a book, read it today. Make no delay. Keep your brain active that way. Do what the governor say. Pick up a book, read it today. Make no delay. Just read a book before you play. So let me hear you sing. Read for the summer. Read a book, 5 is the number. Read for the summer. Read a book, 5 is the number.
He's provided a number of at-risk youth with vocational opportunities in plumbing, electric, and construction. My guest today on this edition of Eye on the Islands is Scott Bradley, the founder of My Brother's Workshop. We talked a little bit earlier about how the community can sometimes stigmatize or marginalize these kids who you are giving opportunities to. But what has your experience with our community been in terms of their reaction?
Well, in the beginning it was slow, but as time went on, a lot of groups came out to, first of all, to join us and to see and now embrace us. And we have a lot of really good community supporters. So the Rotary Clubs of St. Thomas, every one of them has come out and supported us. St. Thomas Reformed Church is, of course, our founding, our supporter. But even the senators and governors, we've had a lot of people come out and want to work together to help get to the next level. We did a work project, especially with the people at DP&R and Public Works and Bluefin Construction, and just a number of people in the community coming together to help stabilize the building. And these things are just so important. You know, the work projects that we do, a lot of volunteer projects with the Rotaries. You know, we'll go out on a Saturday and we'll fix up a playground or a school or something that's really important. But what really happens is we get a chance for not only the kids to learn to meet these older, more successful people in the community, the leaders of the community, but also the leaders get to meet the kids. So we start breaking down all the misconceptions that, you know, these are bad kids or these are rough kids or they don't care. You know, it turns out that the kids are really respectful and the adults are really receptive and just, you know, a good time is had by everybody. And as time goes on, we are overcoming a lot of the stigmas and a lot of the marginalizing. And I mean, recently we had a meeting with the governor's office, with the governor in his office, and purchasing and procurement, where just being a little creative can do a lot of good. If, you know, the government has to do a lot of maintenance around the island, they have to do a lot of maintenance to the schools and buildings, and we're trying to teach the kids that need the help, the ones that instead of being a burden to society, now we can use them to do this work. The government gets work at a reasonable price. And at the same time, you're funding a program indirectly, so we don't need to be a drain on the system. We can actually be a benefit. So, and when people donate money and we go or we do work for one of these other nonprofits, it's almost like a double blessing. You give us, you know, somebody donates money to repair the Bethlehem House. And we go and we take these boys that need the help, need the training, and we do the repairs, and they can buy the material and everything gets done. And at the end of the day, we not only help Bethlehem House, but you help these kids and their families and everyone else. So it just kind of multiplies as time goes on.
So does the majority of your funding come from donations?
Well, a good part of it comes from the work we do, the work projects. That provides not only the work, but there's also a lot of gaps. So funding, donations are needed to help us with the training and to help us with the things that we can't earn enough money to do. So yes, funding is always an issue. We're always, just like any other group today, especially in this economic time, we're all struggling to keep going and try to address the overwhelming need that's out there.
You have a long waiting list.
We have a long, long waiting list, and also to several agencies. We have well over 200 kids on our list, and other agencies, they call me daily just to see if we can take one more, two more, or three more, and we're just maxed out. But it's coming together as a community. If we can work together to look at these other ways that we can do work or expand this program, then we can help these kids, because there is quite a large number out there that needs help.
It's not just a vocational program, it's kind of a mentorship as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the most important part is, when people ask me about, what kind of program or what kind of, it's old-fashioned, I hate to say it, but, 'cause I'm getting older, it's almost grandfather advice. It's basically, when I was growing up, the things that my father drilled into me and my grandfather drilled into me, and the way we used to do things. If someone needed if a young man in the community wasn't making it, somebody would take him in, they'd teach him a trade. That's, apprenticeship is the foundation of what our United States was built in many countries. It's been tried and true for thousands of years, but somewhere along the lines we lost that. We don't, we need more vocational training. I mean, we're just a small answer. We work on a specific group of kids, but there are a lot of kids out there who need, other experience. I mean, we need to grow what they learn so that they can adjust to today's economies, and it's always changing.
You said that we are kind of moving away from that, giving grandfatherly advice, or when we see kids in need, really helping out. Do you feel like the community has kind of abandoned our youth in that sense?
Well, I hate to say to abandon them, but today, life is so complicated. I talk with moms that's like, they're upset about their children, but they struggle 2 jobs to make a living. Life is just too complicated. It's not about blaming anyone. It's not about blaming a school system, a government, it's about putting aside that and coming together to see what we can do to fix the problem. We're way too quick to blame people. If we're that quick to help fix the problem, then we'd have far fewer problems.
Talk a little bit about some of the life skills that these kids come away with.
Oh, we try to get it so you're well-rounded when you come out. You'll have we'll help you get your driver's license and learn that responsibility. We have like Merchants Bank will send Roe County, the vice president out there will come down and sit with the boys and talk about banking and how to save money. And if you can imagine, last time we did it, they spent about 2 hours, totally engaged in talking about. And I was amazed because I can't find that 2 hours worth of interesting things to talk about when it comes to banking. But it's always amazing at how starved they are for positive attention, and how well they respond to rules, and they respond to get excited about actually having a future.
How long does it take for you to see that kind of turnaround in them?
Well, each one's different, and that's one of the rules we have there, is that you can't try to create a box and put everybody in that same box. So everyone has different issues. Everyone comes from a different background. We have some that have turned around in 2 or 3 months, and we have some that will probably always need our help. So it's really generally within a year, most kids get established, get a job, or have a good foundation for what they want to do. And they all really do well. I mean, I can't stress enough that, some have some sketchy backgrounds, but they always come back to that same, they just want a chance to grow up.
You mentioned that the program is faith-based or Christian-based, and that the Lutheran Church was, or the Lutheran Reformed Church was kind of a founding place for you guys.
St. Thomas Reformed Church.
Okay.
We love the Lutherans, but that's not the right church. But and again, we are a Christian church, but it's not. We don't send anybody to Sunday school. You're not required to go to church, and it's not about that. It's about our commitment to our community. It's about our commitment to these kids. It's about forgiveness. I mean, if you can't go into this program and be able to forgive kids that, the first day you meet them, they hate you and they'll swear at you and they'll curse you, and you're just, and if you're not willing to ride it out with them until it turns around, then you're not going to be successful. I mean, all of our kids, no, I won't say all of our kids, but a lot of our kids have been given up on. You know, this is their last chance. You know, the school system, you know, continuing education, special ed, you know, they can't handle.
So do you have a home base out of which you guys operate out of?
Well, currently we're operating out of the St. Thomas Reformed Church. They've been very kind and good to us, supporting us over the years. But you know, now we've outgrown our, you know, what we need, and so we're looking for a bigger space. And or actually, the governor has offered, and the property procurement have been looking for a space for us. And we've talked about. They've even mentioned the old USO building, the one that had burned, and it's actually funny because at first glance, most people are like, "Well, why would you want? You know, that's terrible. Why would they give you a broken building?" It's like, well, we can take broken kids and fix a broken building, and then you have a good building and you have good kids. So it's thinking outside the box is what's going to help these kids in a lot of ways.
What's your vision for My Brother's Workshop moving forward?
Well, I'd love someday not to need it. But I think there's a lot more work and a lot more struggle, a lot more pain, a lot more heartache. And it's all about, you know, if we can get the community and everybody involved, and not just in our problems, but everybody's. You know, this whole world right now is under a lot of stress and a lot of, we have budget issues, we have, community issues. And if we can kind of go back to the old days when community was about helping each other and coming together. I mean, we're currently working with Graffiti Street. Was one of our good friends. We did a film project last year with them. This year we did a mural, and the mural was dedicated to the concept of coming together as a community to solve problems, about not being so quick to blame people or to point out the shortcomings, but to really, what can we do? I mean, that's how we got started. It's great to have ideas and opinions, but if you don't get involved, if you don't come out, then that's all they are, just words.
So are you able to take donations at this time, or if people have projects that they need done, how do they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with us through the St. Thomas Reformed Church. They can get in touch with us we have a website, mybrothersworkshop.org. We can always use the help, and I can guarantee that we'll take that, and that money will go towards turning around lives and making a difference. You can also come out and volunteer. We're always looking for help. And you don't necessarily have to be a contractor. You don't have to be someone who's worked in the trades. I mean, if you're an accountant, you can help with our accounting. If you're in a business, that maybe that's something that we want to expand our training to. We're talking about getting into training for the hospitality fields or other things that are, other jobs that are relevant to the island. So, just coming out can make a difference. Helping us, we have a lot of literacy issues. We have, kids that could use help with their, tutoring. So nobody would go wasted, and anybody that comes out. And, it's funny, anybody who has come out, and I'll mention even news reporters, they end up getting involved too. So I expect to see you around.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we know that My Brother's Workshop has made a big difference, and we hope you continue to do that.
We'll try.
All right. And that's it for this edition of Eye on the Islands.